What podcast are we on by now?
Whatever one is the last one, I guess it's 17, isn't it?
Let's just call it Podcast X.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'll label
Nice
it
variable.
that. What would that be? Podcast 10 in Roman numerals?
Oh, I don't even know.
Isn't 10?
Yeah, 10
X
is X, yeah.
I could just see a smartass out there going, well, that's technically a 10 on Roman numerals. I've missed you guys. What have you been doing? Well, Jesse, what have you been up to?
Well, I went to the beach too, and
Yes.
now ever since I got back from the beach 3 weeks ago, I've been plotting my life around moving back. So
Yeah, I put so much time and energy into this beach trip that I just got back from that now I'm just left wandering like, what now?
what am I doing in South Boston? There's no beach here. I can't look for shark teeth in South Boston.
Everything before was planning for this trip, so now I'm like, I need to plan something. JP, what have you been up to since we talked to you last?
I had some pretty big cantaloupe troubles.
What?
Please do
Cantaloupe
explain.
troubles.
Please do explain.
This lady brings in and she wants a double your money back refund on a beautiful cantaloupe because it wasn't ripe enough. You know, it's not ripe enough. That's like buying a steak and cooking it up and being like, hey, the steak I bought was too rare. We'll cook it longer. It's your responsibility if it's a piece of fruit to wait till it's ripe enough to eat it. It's not my responsibility to tell you how to eat fruit.
I agree.
She's impatient.
Just one of the many things since we've been off the air that have just
Well.
been really grinding my gears.
If
And-
that was your biggest problem, I think you're okay.
Oh no, that is the camel's hair on the tip of the iceberg.
It's not the camel's toe on the tip of the iceberg.
Jesse.
I'm sorry.
And for those new listeners or those that might not be familiar with JP, he works at a grocery store, so that's what he's talking about.
yeah.
Unless maybe you sell cantaloupes out of your home.
No, but I have
Out of the
thought
back of
about
a truck on the side of 58.
it. There's a fellow that does that on the side of 29. He's got some great local honey, but I haven't stopped to get any yet. So I assume it's great.
Well, next time somebody comes in with fruit troubles, just tell them to go to that truck. Well, not the honey truck, but the fruit truck on the side of the highway.
Go to the honey truck.
Go plant their camel toe on an iceberg somewhere.
Yes.
Got to
Be
remember
painful.
that.
So there's a lot. What's happened in the world since we spoke last? Of course, you had the shootings and right up the street here in Franklin County.
Ugh, awful.
What else has happened? Miley Cyrus was dissed by Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I just read that Jimmy Snuka killed
I saw
like
that.
1,000 Syrian civilians. Or I might be mixing up headlines. He might not have murdered the Syrians with the sarin gas, but he definitely killed somebody. Like,
Yes, he was. It was 30 years ago. His wife was murdered, and they've tied him to it. 20 or 30 years ago.
It was, I think it was like 85. I say if you get away with something for that long, you know, you've outfoxed them, just let it go. Let
Oh
it go,
yeah,
you know?
it's hard to imagine getting arrested for something you did that long ago.
But basically, when she got to the hospital, she died, and they found all these contusions and stuff on her brain or body, and they just assumed that he beat her up a little bit.
I don't have any clue what you guys are talking about. This is news to me.
Superfly, Jimmy Snuka.
He jumped off the top rope, Jesse. The top rope. Yeah.
I don't know.
He's an old wrestler. He was very, very popular
Oh,
back in his day.
the top rope.
The top rope, yeah.
See, I, in my head, imagined a tight rope.
Oh, no. See, the thing with the tight rope is you want to stay on it. You're not trying to jump off.
Well, I
So
guess
the
that
top
depends.
rope, you jump
Yeah.
off. That's
You could be a type.
No, Jesse, it's not going to work. You ain't jumping off no tight
You could
rope.
be a tightrope gymnast. You jump off of them.
You ever notice that sometimes Jesse gets off on these little tangents that
She's
leaves
not giving
us
up.
all going like, what are we even talking about now?
My God, are you still talking?
I'm sorry.
It's like tight rope,
She's
tight
reaching.
string,
Yeah.
arm.
You know
ropes.
what? It was you know how you go through life and there's words that you realize when you're like 26 that you've been saying wrong your whole life?
Oh yeah.
Well, one of them was tightrope. Until about 4 years ago, I thought it was tightrope, and I didn't even think about what that meant. It doesn't make sense.
What would tight rope have even meant?
Exactly, tight.
Like in my mind, I did a visualization of a tight rope.
Yeah, see, I didn't think
A
about that.
type rope? I just imagine that jamming up a typewriter or
Look,
something.
I'm just saying.
The other day on a message board for my online class, I was doing the little bio you have to do, and I'm talking about how I love to whittle, and I spell it whittle instead of I spell it wrong. And apparently whittling with a T is some kind of butt play, and so I got a lot of heat for that. I've
you
never heard
serious?
of yeah. I mean, I've never really explored butthole pleasures that much, and when I
don't
do,
believe you.
I don't think about what it's called, but yeah,
Whittling?
because whittling is like carving wood, but
Do
whittling.
you do that?
No, I just think of wacky stuff to put on those things
Oh,
since I
okay.
think it's ridiculous. But yeah, butt play and because you can carve something out of wood and then incorporate it into your
Butt play.
You could
Yeah.
whittle something for your whittle
There you go.
play.
That's nasty.
Whittling.
That's very interesting.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You weren't rambling that time. You actually were staying on the subject. So
Very
Okay.
coherent.
congratulations, Jesse.
Thanks.
See, I feel like I should get like your favorite candies, and when you do stay on track, like Jesse, here you go, throw you one.
Good girl.
Good girl. Now but well, that's interesting. At least you got. I assume you got hit on quite a bit, so it had to have been an ego boost for that day.
It wasn't bad. Learn something new every day.
Oh man, I've missed you guys. It's been the beach
Yeah.
was amazing, but my week being without my weekly podcast was a little.
I know. I felt weird. Like
Little
I
empty.
felt like something was missing. And it might have been the beach, but 10% of it was probably not doing the podcast, is what I was feeling.
I love
I
the
can agree
ocean,
with
but
that.
I hate the beach. I'm a hairy dude, and that sand just it gets on you and it does not come
Well,
off.
there's only one thing to do about that. Just
Shave
shave
my
your
entire
hair.
body?
Yeah.
You know what I found that helps? Actually, my girlfriend brought this baby powder. If you take baby powder, like when you go to the beach, take baby powder, put it on your hands, and rub it, and just kind of rub it on the areas with sand. It actually just knocks the sand
Yeah.
off. It works really good. I had
makes so
never
much
thought
sense.
that until she brought it to the beach this year, and it worked.
Never would have thought. I've used that for my inner thighs to keep them from chafing, but I've
Right.
never used it to keep the sand off of me.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I mean it's great. It's you don't have to apply. You wait till you leave, and anywhere you've got sand, just kind of rub the baby powder on you. I mean,
Huh.
sure you might look like an aborigine if you don't get it off thoroughly, but I mean you won't be sandy. I used to hate the sand, but as I get older and the older and older I get, the more and more I become a summer person, and the more and more I don't mind the sand on the beach. My girlfriend could sit out there. My friends Brad and Megan and my girlfriend could have sat out there all day. In
Yeah.
fact, I think Brad and Megan stayed on the beach like pretty much. They came back for like maybe an hour, take a break, and go back. But I mean, they stayed on one day from like sun up to sundown, just about. I'm a good like hour to 3 hours. I'm good. After that, I kind of just I guess it's the ADD thing. I kind of just get bored staring, so I just want to go do something else at the
Well-
beach, nonetheless. But
I wouldn't want to sit on the beach all day, but I would definitely stay on the beach all day. Like,
I
I'd
got
get
in
in
the
the
water.
water and go look for shark teeth and seashells and stuff and walk along and look at people and how stupid they look in their bathing suits.
you probably would be looking at me.
No.
I brought the Borat Speedo this year.
No, you
Ooh.
didn't.
I did.
What?
Yeah,
You wore a Speedo?
the Borat, the yellow thing from the.
What?
Yeah,
Don't lie.
I didn't. My girlfriend would have dumped me in.
Oh, I was like, are there pictures?
I don't think
need
I
to
would
see
have been.
this.
I don't think I would have had any friends with me on the beach.
That was very convincing.
Thank you.
I believed it.
I thank you.
JP probably has a Speedo.
Well, we're not going to. I was on the swim team. You know that. It's really weird. Nobody's watching us this week.
I know.
Anyone mention that?
I'm
we are
so
all
glad.
in the dark.
We, you're just hearing us. We wanted to try that because it's a completely different experience listening to people and watching people. I'm a lot sexier when you can't see me. So
I was going to say, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Obviously, my raw sex appeal is what is selling this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
for sure, I'm hoping we don't lose too many viewers as soon
Yeah.
as
I
they
mean-
cut on and see that they can't see their JP. I got a feeling we're gonna lose some views.
And
but
now they're all cutting us off because they're like, oh, well, I guess they're not going to show them today.
you will not see JP today unless you go to one of our Instagrams.
Now, just don't get it. Justin's the funny man. Jesse's the smarty pants. I'm the eye candy. And the eye candy doesn't really work if you can't see it.
With your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what, JP? For those that are missing your just oozing sex appeal, why don't you describe yourself for the listeners today? Just tell them what you're wearing, what you look like. Just give them a visual.
Well, you guys know that I just pierced my my tits, my nipples. And
Yeah?
that's why I'm wearing the fishnet shirt, the fishnet tank
Yeah,
top.
see, I thought your
yeah.
nipples looked a little swollen
And
today.
yeah, I did that it's supposed to enhance sensitivity, which was what I'm counting on.
Okay, well, we'll have to
So.
test it out. When are they going to be healed?
Give it another week.
All
By
right, well,
next Wednesday.
That
yeah.
explains the fishnet tank top. But now, what about the fishnet stockings?
That's just for my own comfort, quite frankly.
Oh, okay.
Holding the boys there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to try that for my nuts.
My fellas
My
need a
nuts.
house, They need some structure.
I feel you.
everybody needs some support.
Yeah,
With a little help from my friends.
that's right.
All right, now as we get on, I have 3 things for you both that I found that I wanted to. 2 I'm not going to say they're not dumb criminal. They're just kind of like WTF news. And this is going to be a recurring segment. We just have to figure out a creative name. I was thinking what the hell news, but that's just kind of
Can it be what
too
the
plain.
beep?
We could call it what the bleep news.
Can we just call it what the bleep without the bleep?
What the
What? No, say bleep, but not a real bleep. You say bleep. What
just
the
say
bleep?
what the bleep.
What the bleep?
Yeah, we can call it what the bleep.
I like out my face.
Out my face.
Because what you're saying is coming out of your face, and if we think it's that outrageous, we'll just be like, out my face. Out my face.
It's like Nacho Libre. Get that corn out of my face.
All right, well, we've got 3 stories here. They're not that long, and I just unplugged my phone violently from the wall in an attempt to grab it because it is holding one of the other stories. But we'll cover that. we'll cross
So one
that
of
bridge.
one of the stories is on your phone.
Yes.
I accidentally lied to you yesterday. I want to apologize for that.
What did you lie to
I
me about?
bumped into you as I was going into the comic shop. I said I was getting my weeklies when in fact weeklies are today. What I was actually getting was, check it out,
Oh, you
Zombie
bought
Sabretooth,
That's
yo.
a zombie Sabretooth?
Zombie Sabretooth, baby.
Wow, is that actually from like the Marvel zombie universe?
Yeah, pretty soon. And flip to the next picture.
Dude, that is so
Yeah.
cool. Magneto.
Zombie Magneto, baby.
Wow,
And his helmet comes off.
That's what you were getting yesterday.
That's what
when
I was
bumped into
getting.
you? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I really do want to start collecting figurines and stuff. I want to build up the nerdiest man cave.
And what
Ever.
what else are you going to play with in the bathtub?
Right.
Quite frankly.
When you're whittling.
Like, yeah.
I'm glad that we have this all figured out. All right, so, people get fired all the time. Well, this guy got fired right after he got hired because he accidentally sent nude selfies to the HR manager.
What? How did
So-
he have the HR manager's phone number already?
I
in
guess
his phone.
I guess that might have been who he called to set up his interview and everything. But, it says if you're going to blow a new job opportunity, you might as well go out huge, which he did. A 23-year-old guy from Illinois interviewed for a job last month. An HR manager wound up hiring him. But not long after she called him to give him the good news, she got 2 naked pictures from him. It turns out that he did it by accident. He was sending them to someone else, but ended up hitting her number by accident.
Yikes.
She told her bosses. They went to the cops, but he told them it was a mistake, and everybody believed him. So they didn't press charges, but they did take back their job offer.
I wonder how raunchy they were. They must have been pretty raunchy to just take the guy right out of contention, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't want to see the naked guy, but I kind of would like to see what kind
Yeah.
of pictures he sent him. Like, how was he posed? Was it one of those like, awkward mirror nudes where you like have your leg hiked up? Was he giving him the Burt Reynolds where he was covering his junk? I mean, what do you imagine? Like when I tell how whenever someone tells you a story, you imagine it in your head without even trying. What did you imagine in your head?
I'm going to tell you. You remember Evan, right?
Yeah.
That was on the podcast that one time. Well, he has a picture of him laying on the bed naked. Well, there's a ton of pictures of him naked, but he's laying on the bed with the guitar covering his junk, rose petals everywhere. But he's like, his legs are all spread, but the guitar is covering his junk. But anyways, that's what I pictured.
That's what you pictured?
It was very sensual.
What did
Sounds
you
very
picture?
sensual. Just the dude's, penis and testicles. I think if they weren't shown, I think they would have just thought it was a joke, a practical joke, and it gave him the job.
So wait, you're not supposed to send news to your HR manager?
No.
Oh, that's
Have you
how,
been
that's how I
violating
got
that?
my job.
That makes sense.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't even have an HR manager, I don't think.
Well, and of course, that story came out of the Chicago Tribune. This next one is a little more violent in nature.
Oh, dear.
So, this woman last week stabbed her boyfriend for not liking an Instagram selfie fast enough. And now, here's where it gets weird. All right. This was in Ohio. A 22-year-old woman was arrested after stabbing her boyfriend in the face with a sharpened selfie stick because he did not like her Instagram post. Look, why did she have an already sharpened selfie stick? I mean, there's so many details of the
It's
story we
insult
don't
to injury.
know.
I mean, because
Maybe she just
it's
got
a
out of prison and it was a shiv.
I
How
love the
would-
irony, though.
yeah,
Love the
that
irony.
I mean, did she pre-sharpen it?
It says it was pre-sharpened. So my question is, who has a pre-sharpened selfie stick?
Maybe she pre-sharpened it so that she would have a weapon on hand, but also a selfie stick at the same time. But somebody comes up to her, she has it in her pocketbook already. Just stab, stab, stab.
Multitasking.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
That
to
does
me.
make a lot of sense, but
We
I don't
can,
think that was the case.
I think we can-
If she was crazy enough to stab him over an Instagram, like I feel like they might already have been having problems over him not liking her Instagram, and she just pretty much said, the next time this bastard doesn't like my post fast enough, I'm going to shank him.
I was going to say, she saw it coming.
Yeah.
I
She
wouldn't
planned
put-
on this.
Not enough Instagram love. I'm going to stab this guy.
I wouldn't put anything past women these days.
Wow. So do you get mad if your boyfriend doesn't like your Instagram pictures?
I'm not sure that he ever likes my Instagram pictures.
Do you get mad if he doesn't like your Facebook pictures?
No.
No?
I don't know. I don't know. No. But I'm not a woman like most women.
You're not a woman like most women.
I only get crazy about once a month.
All right.
What happens?
I've got one more story, but I really have to know. Explain your going crazy once a month. Let me hear what you do when you go crazy once a month. Is this related to
usually
your
it's
woman
when I'm
time?
PMSing, yeah.
Okay.
Everything. Okay, so the other night I was flipping out at work for everything because I told you nobody was tipping me. I was just so pissed. And then I went in the kitchen and I shattered a plate on the floor and it felt really good.
I mean, but do you flip out on your boyfriend?
No.
You don't? Now, okay, you and your boyfriend, you guys are pretty new. It's still
Yeah.
a couple of months in, so you're still in that honeymoon, we don't really fight ever phase. So once you've been with a guy for a while, what are the crazy things that you flip out about?
Well, back in the day,
What are some things that you would just flip out about?
this one time my boyfriend told me that he had quit smoking and I was at his house and I left his house and then forgot something there and I walked back and saw him in the window smoking a cigarette and I walked in there and I went into his room and I tore everything up in his room. I threw the drawers everywhere. I took all, I'm an artist, so I had drawn him a bunch of stuff. I took the whole box of stuff that I had drawn for him, ripped it up to shreds, threw it all over the room. I don't know.
Okay, well, I was going to say now, being mad was justifiable in that situation. I don't know if the
That sounds
punishment.
reasonable.
No, because he's
You know.
killing himself. I mean, he might have lied to me about smoking, but that's not. I should never act that way unless I catch you cheating on me, which
Did this also have to do with menstruation?
I don't
Was it
remember.
that time of the
You
month?
can't
I was in high school. I was a teenager. I mean, teenage girls are always a lot crazier than. No, that's not true. But yeah, I mean,
You've matured.
I have. Like, I don't. It's really hard to make me mad these days.
Really?
There's definitely been a lot of things I could have flipped out about.
I think being a mother probably helps with that too, because
Even
there's so much your
yeah.
kid does
No,
that
you're-
you probably just let go. That probably has built up your tolerance for.
Well, even before that, I think I had come to the realization that there's no point in flipping out. There's no point in getting mad at people because you're not going to change anybody's mind about anything. Because
Right.
everybody's usually set in their own ways. I know I'm like that. So I don't try to get mad at people. There's no point.
Right.
There's
So
no
you
point-
don't get involved in Facebook political posts.
Oh, no.
I've basically gotten to the point now where even if I agree with them, if there's someone on my Facebook, and I wouldn't defriend them because I want their friendship, but if there's somebody I have that
Because
posts
Facebook.
right, it's so important,
Yeah.
and now I've got 1 billion people on Facebook and counting. So
Is that true?
yeah, it's true. They
1
just recently the other
billion?
day, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg posted something about it on Facebook, but. I will unfollow them, which means we're still friends. I can go see their stuff, all of that, but I don't have to see their political jargon in my news feed. I mean, every once in a while is okay, but if it's just like constant, like pretty much this person is an extreme activist
Yeah.
or an extreme political ranter, I'm just going to, because politics make my head hurt. They don't do nothing but make you mad.
I
Do
got
you
on
have Facebook?
I set one up for the first time since like 2006, not too long ago, and it was a constant anxiety attack. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got this feed telling you all these people you should add, and your phone's constantly going off, and it was too much, man. I could not handle it.
I don't blame you. I honestly,
Couldn't handle
I've thought very thoroughly because there's people that I really think a lot of, but then you see a whole new side of people when you get
Yeah.
on their Facebook. Now, I used to would have posted more opinionated stuff, but as I got older, I was realized not many people want to hear that crap. So I try to stick to like funny or just whatever, just
Yeah.
normal posts. But it really makes you see people differently when they pretty much make Facebook their diary.
Yeah.
Or they don't practice what someone had posted and I've started practicing it and it works miracles is to type out what you want to post and then erase it. Like when you want to
Yeah.
rant on
That makes
something,
a lot of sense.
just type it out, get it out your system, get to the post part, and then just delete it. And you will be surprised at how much better you'll feel, and you don't lose friends in the process. But yeah. So going to the last story, which this isn't really a crime story or anything. This is just kind of a think about it for the day. You've probably wasted around 22 hours this summer on being too hungover to actually enjoy it. It's September, which means, of course, summer is now over.
No.
I'm with you. Tank tops, flip flops, and shorts. I'm a happy camper. The
Can we
older I
just,
get,
like-
the less I want to wear.
Let's just start moving south.
Yeah, let's start moving towards
I'm
warmer.
telling you, the mosquitoes, the yard work. I'm done with it, man. I'm
The
through.
yard gnomes.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought you were
give
going
me
to say
a
the
flannel
yard
shirt
gnome.
and some jeans. I'm through with it.
See, and I don't mind fall is bad, but I just hate winter, and especially
too.
that stretch
Winter's
between
coming.
like after Christmas through like March. It's just like dark, dreary, and depressing.
And to make it even worse, you're broke.
Right? There's not because like for me, for instance, my electric bill is like triple in the winter. I mean, it's
Well,
ridiculous.
plus
So
you have to buy
all-
Christmas presents.
all that extra money I'm saving right now, like, I've actually got some money saved up. It's going to go, and I'm not going to save it up in the winter because I'm going to spend
Yeah.
it all on my electric bill and Christmas presents.
You make up a charity and you print up phony Christmas cards saying such and such an amount was donated to this charity. I ripped that off from an episode of Seinfeld, but it still works. It rings true.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, being that summer's over, it's it's the perfect opportunity to look back on how you squandered it. According to a new study, the average person wasted 22 hours of this summer being too hungover to actually go outside and enjoy it. This number is based on approximately 4 bad hangovers over the past 3 months. The study also found that the most common type of alcohol men drank during the summer was, any guesses?
But like
Well, just a
beer.
type of alcohol.
beer.
Yeah, beer. And for women, it was
Liquor.
Tequila?
no.
Vodka.
No.
Was it like
Wine.
Mike's Hard Lemonade?
Now,
Wine.
what kind of wine?
Red wine? Wine coolers.
Boxed wine.
Not red wine.
White wine.
White wine was the most common drink drunk by women summer of 2015. This is from the Daily Mail.
Some classy women we have this summer.
No, just
I'm
just
telling
this
you.
summer, I fell in love with red wine. That's like my go-to spirit now.
I like
was-
Moscato. I guess that's a white
Yeah,
wine.
that's-
That's the only wine I can really drink. But I got to say, I haven't really explored all of the wine options. I've kind of just had a few sips of different kinds.
We can explore some wine options.
I'd like to. I wouldn't
Let's do
mind
it.
finding a fine wine that I like.
You know what? Since I have a kid, I don't really drink a lot anymore and don't have hangovers. But when I did drink a lot throughout the summer, my favorite thing to do when I had a hangover was go to the river and just lay in the sun. I was outside enjoying
When
the
I'm
summer.
when I'm hungover, the hardest thing is just to get out of bed.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like at the beach. Now, I don't think I really got intoxicated. Maybe one night at the beach, and that was the night we got there. And I don't care who says what you eat depends on your tolerance. Well, it affects your
Yes.
tolerance because that morning when I'm going to this place at the beach in Myrtle Beach is my favorite place on earth. The Ocean Lakes, I love it. I've been going since I was like 6. So, I mean, I've been going a large part of my life
Yeah.
now. We don't have to know how
You're
many
so
years.
old.
But I've been going a lot. So for me, it's like Christmas. So like I get the jittery stomach and I'm all excited just to see the entrance. And I mean, it's all
That's so awesome.
It's just like like just seeing the big gate when you walk is like. So I get really nervous. So all I could make myself eat was I forced myself to eat a Bojangles biscuit that morning at like 8.
Good
Well,
choice.
8 or 9. And then we took straight to the beach. I didn't eat nothing. I think I've got low blood sugar because if I don't eat for a while, I get real shaky and kind
Yeah.
of lightheaded. Well, I had that, but then we got to the beach, and I was just so determined that before I did anything, I was going to grab a mixed drink and go to the beach and drink it on the beach, and then I would come unpack. And I rushed so much to do that, and then I ended up just getting kind of silly. But the rest of the nights, I didn't really. But I hate it because at the beach, I like to get up at like sometime between, I'd say, if I had it my way, between 7:30 and 8:30 if I could, to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then the nights, like the next day after I had drank a lot, I mean, it was a struggle to get up before like 9:30 or 10. And I hate that because I feel like I waste my entire day, But for me,
I'm
the
the same
bed, I hear people say they love greasy foods. Like the thought of food or anything, I just don't. When I'm hungover, just let me lay in bed and leave me alone.
I don't even remember what I like when I'm hungover. It's been so long.
Do you guys have any hangover remedies?
I like Chef Boyardee. The ABC's 1, 2, 3s with meatballs, a couple slices of loaf bread, and a tall glass of cold milk.
Huh.
That's me.
I'll have to
all
try
over.
that.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
One thing people say, which really, if you're hungover, it's really hard to force yourself to do this. But it does. I really have tried it, and it seems to work. If you can make yourself drink like a beer the next morning,
Ooh, hair of the dog.
every
Oh.
time I've done it, it's like, when you first crack it, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
After the first few sips, it goes down smooth, and it really does clear you up. I mean, it's hard to get, if you can get over the hump of actually starting to drink it.
Yeah.
No, never even tried.
I found what works for me, though, and I didn't do it that night. But if I know that I'm going to go out and drink or something like that all day and all night leading up, I'll drink a lot of water. And then I've heard someone say you shouldn't do this. I've always done it, and it's never given me any problems. But I'll take like 2 Tylenol before I start drinking,
Yeah.
go throughout the night, and then I might take 2 more if I can be functional enough before I go to bed with a glass of water. And I mean, I might wake up feeling a little woozy, but the hangover doesn't last much longer than it takes for me to get out of bed.
I was going to say, I used to make myself throw up a lot the morning after.
I can't. I've only ever done that once, and I thought I was gonna die. And my friend came into the bathroom, and I told her I thought I was gonna die, and she said, "Just drink some water." And I was like, "No, I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm gonna die." And so, anyways, there was a glass in there. I filled the glass up with sink water, and I chugged it, and I threw it up immediately, and it was still cold when it came up, and it felt so good. I did that about 4 times.
Huh. I can't think of. I had one time. I've never gotten so hungover I've thrown up the next day. I've only had once or twice that I felt like I was going to.
Yeah.
That is a terrible feeling.
Yeah. How do you think? That's the way I was the first 3 months I was pregnant. I had morning sickness, never threw up.
Really?
But I felt like I was going to for 3 months.
Well, that's awful.
Yes, it was terrible. I couldn't even
Did it
brush
just
my
last
teeth.
in the mornings?
No, all day.
That's
That
the worst,
sucks.
though, like being nauseous and not being able
Exactly.
Right.
The whole time
Yeah.
I was like, if I could just throw up, I'd feel so much better, and I couldn't throw up.
to chug. My worst hangover ever, New Year's Day, 2007. You remember the staple chasers I used to do?
Yeah.
I would take a shot and let a pretty girl staple me in the forehead. And the next day I wake up, I look at my buddy. I mean, we weren't sleeping together, but he was in his bed. I go up to him. He's like, come here. He's like, is there something in your forehead? It was a staple still in there, like broken off. I had to dig it out with tweezers.
You actually did that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Jackass 2 had just come out. We were all really, acting silly. And it
Man,
was, yeah.
kudos for
did
the
that-
toughness, man. That had to suck.
Well, I mean, they pretty much hit your staple and bounce right back. But sometimes the meaty part of the forehead, they can get hung up in there.
Did you ever get any booty for that?
Oh, jeez. I'm sure I. Well, maybe it was. Yeah, I'm sure I did. Let's just say I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go
absolutely.
with that.
There was
Yeah.
booty given during that time period.
To somebody.
How closely related it was to that, we don't know. But we're going to credit it to the staples in the forehead.
Wild times. It was a MySpace video sensation though.
MySpace
Yeah.
videos. That's crazy.
My first taste of fame.
My MySpace still exists, and I hate going to it because I feel so weird.
That
And
must be like a time capsule.
It
Do you
really
update
is.
it at all, or is it
No,
just
I
lying
just-
dormant?
I went on there a few years ago to get some pictures off.
Mm-hmm.
I went
Worst
to mine,
idea.
and I actually am not that embarrassed because, I mean, there was a little bit of difference in me then and me now, obviously, but not a lot. I mean, I didn't really post anything that embarrassing to begin with. I mean, it was just.
It's just so many selfies and like how much
Oh,
time
your
did
Facebook
I spend?
is ridiculous. With
Not my-
not your Facebook, your
My
MySpace,
MySpace.
with selfies and song lyrics
Yeah.
under said selfies.
It was terrible.
Are you really telling me you don't do selfies anymore, Jesse?
I do,
Stop.
but
yes,
Just
she
stop.
does
I do,
on the
but-
daily.
not nearly as much. I mean, like, anyway.
Each one of those was edited differently,
Yes,
and
I
they were
spent a
like
lot of time
different
editing them.
themed, and I mean, it really looked like she was getting paid to do it. I mean,
I'm
it was
embarrassed
a lot of work.
talking. Can we change the subject?
Don't be-
This
no,
is embarrassing.
You're a MySpace whore.
We've
Nothing
all-
wrong with
we-
that.
Yeah.
We've all got embarrassing things in the past. I mean,
They're all worse things, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, back at the time of MySpace, I was sure that right now I'd be a rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 100% sure that at this time you would have been like, where will you be in your later 20s? Pfft, a rock star. Not working radio, but I'll
Gosh,
take it.
You're close enough, man. I hear you on commercials on the radio all the time.
Yeah, the guy that does the stations for where you're at sends me a lot of commercials, so it's cool though. I
Every
like
other
doing them.
commercial that comes on is you, and every time, like, this is Justin.
I like doing them because it's the only way my friends and family can hear me because they all live in South Boston, which is like 30 minutes from here. So, and this station doesn't pick up down there.
I thought I'd either be like big or dead, one of the two. It's kind of weird being in that middle ground,
Well, now you're a semi-famous podcaster who's alive.
There you go.
I mean, that's pretty legit.
One step in the right direction, one foot at the time.
I don't know where I thought I was going to be when I was this age. Actually, no, I thought that I would have a kid by now and married, and I have been married and I have a kid, so I guess I've met my goals.
You're not married. Oh well, no,
I
you have
was.
been married.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have the kid. I'm I'm not used to it not being a camera. If only they could see like the shaking head.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm making all these facial expressions and for nothing.
I
Nothing.
noticed that going back
Wasting
watching the
on
old
you guys.
podcasts. It's like if you watch JP,
If I got
when he
nothing to
doesn't
say,
realize,
I'm just gonna.
when he doesn't, when he's not on the mic or we're talking, he's got these facial expressions going for everything. It's pretty awesome. I think
Well-
we should make I think that should be your next photo project. You should make the many expressions of JP
All right.
and just make like a reel of different facial expressions.
Okay.
I would like that. I would like that very much.
We can do that tonight.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We should definitely do
It'll
that.
only take a second.
Okie dokie.
But yeah, go ahead.
I learned an interesting fact in my class, which is very surprising. I never learned anything in class. But I read in my book, I'm taking IO psychology. Don't ask me what it is because I don't know.
Iowa psychology.
IO psychology.
IO psychology.
Like is it I and then
Slash
the letter O?
O.
Not IOWE.
No,
Like
no, no, no. It's-
I owe psychology.
it's-
To whom do you owe psychology?
I/O psychology. I don't know.
I like
Anyways,
psychology.
well,
Psychology. It's a racket for the Jews. So that's a Sopranos quote. I nothing against the Jews. I'm sure it's fine.
anyway.
I owe psychology.
Okay, well, I read in the book that a majority of people spend 70% of their time working. Well, I guess it's the average American spends 70% of their time. People spend more time working than they do doing any other activity in their life.
Well, of course they do. We've been so conditioned with this consumerism, man, that
Well-
all we want to do is make enough money to buy all this crazy stuff.
When
That is
I'm
true.
not, now it's like my life goal to not be a part of that statistic.
Well, the thing is, it just depends on how you want to live and what you want. I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
make money, you've got to work. However, if you can do like I have, and I don't have it all figured out, and I would like to make more money, but I do very much enjoy what I do for a living.
Exactly.
So I don't really necessarily feel like I'm working per se. So if you can find yourself a job, because I just read a statistic actually. And the same number, 70% of Americans that were polled they hate their job.
Yeah.
70% of Americans hate what they do for a living. So find something you want to do, and then you won't really be working, and then the money will come later. I mean, but I hate these videos on like YouTube where it's like go live life, and like they're in Rome and they're doing
Yeah.
backflips in the
Like,
ocean. You're like,
where'd you get
somebody
this
worked
money?
hard to pay for that. By the way, like Avicii has that video where it's like talking about go out and live life, and the dude's like surfing, and he's like in the ocean, and he's in other countries, and in these expensive pools, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, somebody had to pay for you to go on all of these
Yeah.
things. I am down for like live life, and there's plenty of things to do here. Go find a river, go bike on the trail. There's tons of things you can do. Go kayak, go paddleboarding. But I mean, when it starts getting the expensive stuff, I mean, it sucks that you have to work, but you got to pay for it somehow.
Well, maybe you could live life and get money living life.
I've found, I'll leave with this before we get too deep, which is fine. I don't mind deep conversation in podcast. I have been Googling, really. It's because it's hard to do how to live in the moment, because everybody says that. But to live in a moment is really hard because we're always thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're thinking about what we've got going. And it's like when I was like going to the beach all year last year. I loved the beach so much that last year and the years prior are all blurs because, as sad as it sounds, I basically think all year about how much I cannot wait to go to the beach.
Yeah.
And then my year is a blur because I spent the whole time thinking. If you can actually learn and master how to just live in the moment you're in and not think about the future, not think about how you're going to pay this bill or what you're going to do on Friday. Just actually live in the moment you're in. Your life will be a lot longer and it will be a lot happier. Like at the beach, I did have a blast, but the whole time we're playing putt-putt, I'm thinking, okay, what are we doing tomorrow morning? Blah, 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 blah. And I should have been like, screw it, I'm playing putt-putt, the hell with tomorrow morning, and just focused, because you're always thinking about the next thing. And I don't know if that's just our human design or what, but we're always thinking about the next step. And if we can learn to forget that, I mean, you need to plan ahead, no doubt, but how to just sometimes just say F it and live where you're at the time, life will be a lot happier. I've been Googling that. There's certain exercises you can do to try to help.
Yeah.
There's my hippie thing for the day.
Sounds
Well-
very zen, very zen. I've always tried meditating to get that kind of mentality, but I
Right.
always just fall asleep.
Yeah, I've tried it a time or two, and it just you're right. I mean, you end up waking up going,
Yeah, anyone who meditates and brags about, I think they're just fakers. It's a glorified nap. And
Right.
I don't know.
So you can nap sitting up. Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at you.
horses do it all the time.
Well, see, I struggle with this whole living in the moment thing, but not the same way that you're saying. My thing is, if somebody asks me to clean up the house one Saturday afternoon in the summer, I'm like, no, I'm going to be outside living my life. If I die tomorrow, I don't want to my last day to have been spent cleaning a house. That
But
doesn't
in
make
comes
any
the philosophy
sense.
of it. That house has to be cleaned at some point.
It can get cleaned
So who's gonna
when
do it
it's
and
cold
when?
outside. When it's cold outside, I ain't going to be outside. I'll be inside and I'll clean it.
So
but-
your philosophy is basically no cleaning in the summertime.
Clean up behind yourself. I don't know.
How about you draw a middle way? You say, okay, I will clean up in the late evening as it starts getting dark summertime.
Well, that's
a
when I work,
there's-
so it doesn't work
Once
like
you
that.
get done with that and your working day, then you can just,
Because I love working at night. If I had a day job, I would want it to start super early in the morning, so I got off around lunchtime.
I used to do that here at the station. I used to go in. I had to be at the station around 5 a.m., and then I got to roll out about between 1 and 2. Now, that was nice. I mean, I'm getting off, and there's no traffic. Everybody's still at work. You go to the grocery store, it's empty. That was pretty legit, but
And JP's over here like, I got to deal with fruit ninjas all the time.
It's no good. It's no good to be sure.
I want to play Fruit Ninja.
They have it at the arcade at where I work.
I have it on my phone.
big
I want
one.
to play it in real life, though.
Like,
Just everybody needs
with
to
a real
stand back
samurai
with a real.
sword?
I did that one time in my front yard, and it was great with my two. You used to come to that house all the time on Hodges Street with my roommate and his brother. We stood in the yard. We had some old pumpkins from Halloween, and I had this back in the day when you had jobs and you just lived off your parents, so you didn't even need to spend the money. I just randomly went to the mall back when we had like an odds and ends store and bought this little cheap katana for like $60 because we were going fishing, and I was like, if I see a snake, I'm
Okay.
gonna cut his head off. So I got that, and I bought it for that purpose. So I've had it ever since. So we stood out in the front yard, and this was in a neighborhood, so I guess it was probably scary. But hey, we were like 21. You don't care
Yeah.
when you're 21. Throwing the pumpkin up and slicing it as fast as we could.
That sounds like the best idea ever.
It was
Can we do
fun.
that? Let's do that
Yeah,
one
we
day.
should do that. Well, as we close out, we are thinking constantly of trying to come up with new segments, recurring, themes. So, fun things coming.
Yeah, and let us know how you feel about no video and just audio.
Yeah, because like Jesse and I were talking about, we feel like the majority of people, when you listen to this, you might watch it for the first minute or two, but then you generally
Yeah,
set your phone down.
That's what I do. So.
I don't think too many people just sit and stare at the computer.
Maybe we need more visual aids or a big dance number. How would you guys feel about that?
Actually, I was thinking about that. We should do the whip and nay nay together.
I'm
'cause
not doing the whip in the name.
It would be
I've
so
never
funny
heard
because
of it.
I can't
I
dance.
despise that song
Come
and that
on.
dance. Oh my gosh, that's how I
Fine.
know I'm getting old. It's like I see these dances and songs now, and I'm like, that's just stupid.
I forgot all about Shaggy until the other night. I don't know if you guys remember him, but I was
Yeah.
doing the most exciting dance in my kitchen listening to Shaggy. I'm going to get a midriff tattoo that says Mr. Boombastic.
Yes.
Dude, I was listening to that when we were at the beach. I had Wasn't Me and Angel on my
Nice.
playlist.
Classic.
Shorty,
Seventh
great.
grade prom.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was super awkward.
Whenever I put it on 90s at the bar, Shaggy plays.
Shaggy's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what you think. If you have any segment ideas, let us know. I'm excited to see what's going to come of this. We want to start doing different things. Like we might go out on the streets and ask people questions. We might have some more what the hell news, maybe some skits
Yes.
coming up. I think both of you are like the idea of doing skits
Yeah.
like I do. So lots of exciting things coming. If those of you that listen to every one of these, thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back
and
after our
sorry,
break.
yeah, sorry for being gone for so long.
Yeah.
That really sucked for us too.
Yeah, we hated it.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? Distance makes the heart grow fonder, right, Jesse?
It really did.
Yeah.
That's why I love you so much, JP. I didn't talk to you for like 10 years.
Thank you guys both for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Thank you everyone else for joining us. And join us again next Wednesday where we will continue podcast whatever number we're on. I think at this point we can stop counting, but
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like to count, but
I do too, but we'll see.
all right. We got to figure out what we're on now.
Yeah.
Crack.
People are probably going to think so.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for this night. I'm Justin.
I'm Jesse.
Oh yeah, I'm JP. I'm at the end of the table.
And we'll see you next week.